In this video, I am going to discuss how risky it is to get into the residential assisted living business or the behavioral health / transitional housing business. So if you're interested, make sure to stick around. What is going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Serge. Welcome to the channel. To all my reoccurring viewers, thank you so much for all the love and support that each and every single one of you have shown me. And if you have not yet, make sure to go check out the God Made podcast on most streaming platforms. Also, feel free to go check out legionassistedlivingacademy.com, where you can actually go and join the course where I teach how to start your own facility from A to Z. Also, if you're looking to book a one-on-one mentorship call, you could also go do that there as well. And the link will also be in the description of this video, along with also being able to book a full day with myself where you come and actually spend a day with myself and go through the facilities that I have ready to go and all set up and operating. That way you can see what the day-to-day operations looks like and you can ask me any questions. And also, if you have not yet, make sure to go check out valleyalfventures.com if you are a limited partner looking to invest passively into this niche on the real estate side of it. Also, if you're an operator looking to potentially expand your operations or sell your facility, feel free to reach out to us. We would love to speak to you. And so now that the housekeeping is all done, let's go ahead and jump into the topic of this video. Now, many people, when they think about assisted living or starting this type of business, they think of residents falling, families suing you, all types of things going on at the facility that could be a liability and potentially put you in a position where you are sued. So with this business, there is a lot of moving pieces and there's a lot of variables to consider, especially from the liability standpoint. Now, with any business, you do have that liability and that risk of someone potentially suing you. That's just the nature of running a business, whether that be on the real estate side of it, whether that be on the operational side of it, whatever the case may be, you're always open to the potential of getting sued. So how risky is this business? Now, I could tell you in the time that I've been running this business and been in this industry, I have not had the encounter of potentially being sued, knock on wood, right? But there have been times where there could have been a scenario or two that might have led to a potential lawsuit. So that could have been from a caregiver being negligent, of a wrong medication being given, whatever the case may have been, there could have been that situation. Now, you do all you can as an operator and as a manager and owner to mitigate those risks by implementing different systems in place for that type of stuff. So with this type of business, your biggest liability is going to be the resident themselves and also the documentation that you do in your facility. That is really going to be the two things that you need to really factor in when you're starting either an assisted living, behavioral, transitional housing. When you document everything and you have systems in place to document everything and have that all double checked, you're more than likely able to mitigate a lot of the potential risks that you may open yourself up with this type of business. Now, yes, you could do a lot of things on the legal side of it by having, entities set up, LLCs, different things like that, like asset protection, which I highly suggest you do that. But from the operational side, you obviously want to make sure you have general liability insurance and make sure that you have enough to cover anything that could potentially happen, and make sure that you read through the fine print that through that general liability insurance proposal that an insurance company will give you. Make sure you read through that, because there could be situations like potentially a scenario that had happened was bed sores, right? Bed sores are very common in this type of industry, and especially in assisted living facilities. And certain insurance companies will not cover that if it's past a certain stage on a bed sore. So make sure you read through fine print. That's just one example, but make sure you read through the fine print when you set up your general liability insurance policy. And then on top of that, with the documentation side of it, you want to make sure that you utilize a system that you can make sure you double check with your current staff and have another pair of eyes. What I've seen and what other homeowners do is they'll coordinate with other care homeowners and other colleagues within their space and within their community and in their area, where they'll have them come and just do kind of a mock survey of their documentation. And the reason being is because you or your staff may not see something that someone else may see, that a state surveyor will either give you a deficiency on, or that may open you up to some type of liability. So this is something to keep in mind when you're operating your business and how risky it could potentially be. Now, again, if you're doing things from an asset protection side of it, you really mitigate a lot of things that could happen, right? There's a lot of barriers that someone will have to go through in order to personally come after you. And in most cases, I have yet to hear of people who have asset protection properly set up deal with that type of situation. And again, you want to make sure you have a good attorney who specializes in this type of work when it comes to potential lawsuits, right? Make sure you have an attorney lined up. Make sure that they are aware that you're a client of them and that at some point you may need to put a retainer with them to be able to help you out with the situation. And so it's not, a lot of people like to say this phrase, it's not a matter of if, but when it comes to this type of work. And that goes for anybody that's in business. This is something that you can do everything you can to mitigate it, but you cannot always control the uncontrollables. So do all you can to make sure that you have all the proper things in place for when a scenario or a situation like this will happen. And so fortunately for me, I have not been there and I don't want to be there, and I do everything that I can in my control and power to mitigate that as much as possible by having the right training in place with my staff, by having the right documentation in place, by having the asset protection items in place as well, by having an attorney who I can discuss things as they come up. And it may not always lead to some type of lawsuit, but also keep in mind, you as an operator will encounter things where you may have to go after the family for certain items. And oftentimes it's typically payment, right? And so if something happens where they're not giving payment and you have to go pursue them in civil court, whatever it may be, to get those, that could also happen. There's a lot of different scenarios that could happen. But again, if you are able to implement all the things that I mentioned earlier, you're going to be able to set yourself up for when that time comes, you're well protected and you are prepared, and you do not want to start doing things out of the norm. And make sure that if you have an attorney, that you follow what they tell you in regards to also your personal assets, your business assets, all the different things that they may recommend for you to do, and provide them with the proper paperwork and documentation to help make a strong case for yourself when something like this may happen. Again, having cameras in the common area spaces of your home, having that type of proof is going to be vital. So I highly suggest people implement that type of security within their facility. Make sure your incident reports are done properly and on time when something does happen at your facility. Not every incident report that's going to happen is going to lead to some type of lawsuit, but again, you never know what families or other people are thinking when something like that happens. Maybe it's a fall that was due to negligence, maybe it's a fall due to improper medication administration. There's a lot of different things that could happen. So again, I don't want to scare anyone. There are ways to mitigate any type of future lawsuit or future potential liability by implementing the things that I just discussed. And so I hope that this video helped a lot of you out. And if it did, make sure to hit the like and comment down below your guys' thoughts, and make sure to subscribe. Again, you can go book a one-on-one mentorship call with myself in the description of this video, also at legionassistlivingacademy.com. And if you have not joined the course there, make sure to go do that. Also, there's a Performa template that you can purchase as well, along with being able to book a full day with myself. So again, make sure to go check out valleyalfventures.com on Instagram and also the website. And with all that, I will talk to you all in the next one.